What's up, YouTube? So today we're just going to be talking about shrooms, the magic mushrooms. If you're like me and you get on a subject, you just want to hear all the videos and everybody's story and everybody's experience, what they came back with, what they seen, good trip, bad trip, whatever, then this might be a good video for you to sit down and watch. So basically I've indulged in the forbidden fruit, or the psilocybin mushrooms, probably 7 or 8 times. The first trip being the best trip, and the last trip being runner-up. Everything else in between was, it's kind of whatever. Nothing really to write home about. But so we'll go into the first story. I ain't gonna hold y'all long in the video. The first story, I was with a girlfriend. She came over to the house. We're smoking weed, watching TV, listening to music, all the normal shit. And then she said out of nowhere, "Have you ever tried any shrooms?" I'm like, fuck, I've been reading about them. I've been researching about them. I've been hearing about them. So I was like, nah, but, I'm definitely down to get some. She's like, well, I got some. So she had a quarter bag, and we split that up into about an eighth apiece. Ate that. Tasted like straight up cow shit. I mean, fresh. Um, yeah, it was like straight up cow shit. I just had to chew it the best I could and then just wash it down, like a peel or something. But yeah, so got them down. We was just chilling out, listening to some music, watching TV. Nothing happened. It's been like 40 minutes. Nothing's happened. So I roll a little joint. We step outside, smoke. And about this time, it's kind of dark. It's maybe around, I'm on the East Coast, so it's maybe around like 7:30 or something like that, fall time. So it's already kind of, dark outside. So we smoke, get about halfway through it, and I got like 2 cars parked here, and out of the corner of my eye, I see some movement. So I look, and it's a fucking little elf. It's like a little elf. Hat, short, everything, funny looking, long white beard. I caught a glimpse of him, and he ran behind my car. Well, then, boom, I see something over here moving. There's like 2 or 3 making a run for it, coming this way. So they go behind the car. Boom, I see some more movement. I look over there. Man, it was just back and forth. They were just like playing hide and go seek between my outbuilding, one car, and then my girlfriend's car. It was just like probably like 7 or 8 of these little bastards running around. They won't let me get a good glimpse at them, but it's just enough to be like, oh, look at this fucking elf, and then he's dipped. He's gone behind another vehicle. So at that point, I was like, hey, let's you feeling anything? She's like, yeah, I'm starting to feel. Okay, let's get on inside, So I locked the door. We're going to the bedroom. So I got some vibes set up in the bedroom, just some music. I got a strobe light going, which was pretty fucking cool. Had a poster or two on the wall, trippy posters. So anyway, so we go into the room, we lock the door. Music's playing, and I'm playing D12 World. Don't judge me. I'm playing D12 World. I cannot remember the name of the song. But anyway, I'm playing D12 World, and this fucking cymbal hits. It's like a splash, rather. It's like, psh. And when this motherfucker hit, like all the hair stood up on my body. All the hair stood up like everywhere, and I felt fucking orgasmic, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I felt orgasmic. I felt like I could have bust right there, but I didn't. So yeah, that shit happened. That shit felt good. So I kept rewinding it. I was asking her, like, man, do you feel this shit? So yeah, she started feeling the splash, and it was interesting. And so anyway, past that, we tripped on that for a little bit, and the next thing no, I can't say 30 minutes, an hour later, nothing like that. I was just sitting there, just whatever, doing my thing, and I looked behind me. I'm thinking like, damn, where did my girl go? So I looked behind me, and old girl just laid on the bed. She had bought a teddy bear that she was taking to her brother, because we was going to visit him in juvenile hall. The boy had a thing for stealing cars. But anyway, so she had a little stuffed animal to take to him. So I look back, she's laid out on the bed, like lifeless, not moving or nothing. and she's got her hands cuffed, and she's basically like, you could hear her whispering a little bit. She was whispering into the ear of the Care Bear, or whatever fucking bear it was. And so I check on her, make sure she's, still alive. She says she's just cool. She's just telling the bear some secrets. Who am I, to intrude on that? So I leave her be. So then I find my strobe light. So I started yelling out face shots, and I would take the strobe light and just up to my face and stare at it, eyes open, and it didn't hurt. Like, it wasn't whatever. So I'm staring, like, face pressed against this fucking strobe light, plastic, and I look up, and the design that's on like a bandana, the little designs on bandanas, like that shit was on my ceiling, like everywhere. And as the beat was going, the shit was changing shape or changing form, whatever, bouncing back and forth. The whole room, different colors and everything. Like, they was different colored bandana symbols. It was red, and it was blue, purple, yellow, and they was just boom, 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 just all around the room. So that shit was crazy. So I kept saying face shots, and I would do this, and I would look up and, trip balls for a little bit. Then one of the posters caught my eyes. I bought it at, I think I bought it at Spencer's like a long time ago. But, yeah, so the poster was coincidentally, a bunch of little elves, and they was climbing up a marijuana plant, and they was trimming the buds, and you had some of them that was coming down the marijuana plant, putting the buds into a wheelbarrow, and there was somebody with the wheelbarrow to push them over here to another guy sitting, another little elf, weird alien looking guy, and he was trimming all the bud, and this is just in a picture on the poster. But when I went over there, these motherfuckers was working. I'm talking about, I don't know for sure their ethnicity, but you know what I'm saying? Like, they was working, bro. Hard working. They was going up and down this plant so fast. Dude was bringing down bundles like this on his shoulder, bringing down bundles of damn bud, taking them to the other dude. He was trimming them up and looking at me and smiling, and they kept looking at me as the wheelbarrow was going by, and everything was just happy, happy, happy. And then there was two like angels with alien faces at the top of the poster, and in steel they're just like this. They're like they got a bag and they're just froze like this. Well, they was reaching in the bag and they was sprinkling out fucking like crystals, little white glitter crystals, with like a trichome or something, and the shit was just falling down all over the weed plants on the poster. So after that, tripped on that for a while, couldn't believe it. Let's see, after that, I started feeling kind of weird. I sat down on the bed, and like my chest was feeling a little funny, you know what I mean? And I don't play about my chest feeling funny, so I just kind of had to do a couple of those, and yeah, man, that was really about it that I can remember. I do remember we tried to have sex. Like, she came to, and she was chilling with me for a minute on the poster. Like, she was kind of tripping on the poster. She kind of came back. So we were sitting there talking, and then we started kissing and rubbing each other, doing the thing, and then we started to, and she was just like, I'm sorry, I can't. Like, I'm too fucked up. I can't. Like, I feel like I'm extremely dry down there. Like, I can't. Just not in a good headspace for it. So I'm like, cool. No problem. It's no problem. So we do our thing. After that, we just chill for a little bit, and she kind of, falls back out on the bed, and she's just talking to her bear. That's about all I can remember from the first one. The next day, I felt great. I used to be a heavy weed smoker, and that day, after I experienced my first trip on shrooms, I did not even have the urge, the care, the thought, the craving to smoke weed. Like, I was just so fucking happy. I was on a whole nother level. Didn't want any weed. Like, I was on a natural high, and I wasn't coming down. Like, that whole day, I just felt amazing. The next day after. Then like the second time, me and the same girl, we had rented a hotel room and wanted to trip in a different environment. We set up some vibes. The shrooms were kind of drier, which don't mean, whatever, but, they wasn't as fresh as the first one. It's supposed to be from the same spot, but the second one, it was a little different. It was, the only thing I remember was nothing really happened. Nothing, I didn't see anything. I felt a little weird. Then I felt a little light, like in my head, but not in a dizzy way. I just felt kind of like, heady. I kept looking out the peephole of the hotel room door. It kind of bubbles anyway. And that shit was like massively bubbled, and I just kept looking for something. Like I felt like, not in a scary or bad way, I just kept feeling like I need to look out there and make sure there ain't nobody coming to the room, whatever. But still aside in security, it was like, that was my thing that night. But anyway, that night, now that shit was like fucking mushroom Viagra. Like, the performance was amazing that night. People, they had to knock on the wall. The people next door had to knock on the wall. But anyway, so this third time I tripped, there's absolutely nothing to remember, nothing to recant. Just, I don't even remember feeling anything, like feeling good or anything. So that was some bullshit. The fourth time was pretty cool. I done it, then I got to where I started doing shrooms by myself. Some people say you shouldn't do shrooms by yourself, whatever. You should always have a caretaker, somebody, a guide or something to watch out. I'm grown, you know what I mean? I'm cool, I can handle it. So, I ate, I think, around 4 grams of shrooms. I like to produce music back in those days, so I actually had a instrumental that I named Shrooms. So, so anyway, the beat production that night was on point. Like I ran through like 3 or 4 beats, start to finish, to master. Like I was just like it was like I took Adderall. Those shrooms were like Adderall, because I was just dialed the fuck in on everything. But nothing trippy, nothing, hallucinogenic, nothing happened. Felt a little crazy a couple times. Just kind of like weird, like my body felt kind of crazy, but yeah, so that wasn't nothing. The 5th time is when I learned it's not good to smoke cigarettes on shrooms, because my body felt just completely fucking nasty, and I felt like I could feel cancer growing or something. It was terrible. So that was kind of a bad trip. I felt really weird. I felt like I was going to die. I kept feeling like my chest felt really weird, and everything was kind of just like had a negative tone to it. Nothing trippy. I kept looking to see like a ghost or something in my house. Is what I felt like that type of trip was, like in a bad way. Like I didn't want to see no shit on that one. I was just too like paranoid. So that shit didn't really hit me right. The 5th one didn't. So nothing bad happened. No trippy thing. I didn't see anything weird. It's just a bad vibe on that one. That whole high right there. And then let's see. I think I took them maybe one other time. Obviously, there's nothing notable about that one. I don't remember it. But the last time that I took them was probably about 3 years ago. And yeah, it was pretty good. I walked away. It's so simple. We already know. And it's cliche to say, everything is going to be okay. It's just words. You hear people say, hey, everything's going to be okay. You're kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever, But on this one, it was a little more deeper than that. And I can't say that it was profound or it changed my life, but in that moment, I had a lot of shit going on. And in that moment, it really did. Like, everything is going to be okay. I remember thinking, like, look, as long as I got my breath and my heartbeat, and if I lost everything else, the house, the job, my head, my car, like everything, my truck, all that, if I lost everything, that I would still be okay, because I'm still breathing. I still have the ability to change my situation and my circumstance. So no matter what, if the shit hits the fan and you just worst come to worst and you're just bad on down on luck, it's just everything's still gonna be okay. And that was the type of vibe that whole trip was. But yeah, I've been listening to a lot of McKenna, and I was wanting to do like the 5-gram dose. So I did work my way up to 5 grams. I started off, I ate an 1/8, and then I would go back a little bit later and I'd eat another one. I'd weighed out 5 on the scale, so I had 5 grams sitting there. I'd go back and eat another one, 30, 40 minutes later, eat another one type of shit, The onset of that one, I had some nice vibes. Like, it was around Christmas time, so I had some Christmas lights and shit still up in the house, around the staircase, going up the staircase, spiraled and everything. So, yeah, the vibes, the colors, everything seemed extra, extra bright, kind of extra fun, extra cartoony. you know, it's in and out of that, in and out of like being normal, and then kind of like thinking deep, and then boom, like, oh shit, look at those lights, they're fucking gorgeous, they're so bright, you know, all that shit. Had a little music that night. I made a little music. Then it kind of got a little dark. I got out my art pad and a pencil or a Sharpie. And actually, it was just a Sharpie. I got a Sharpie and I drew like a arrowhead with some blood dripping off that was going through a heart. So the blood was kind of dripping off the blade and out of the heart. You know, nothing original, but it looked really fucking good. And I put the Aussie and I somewhere in there. I got it somewhere. But anyway, it turned out pretty fucking dope. So I had a really good time drawing. But when I was drawing the eye thing, it kind of set out a weird vibe, you know. And I walked back to the bedroom. I was just walking around the house, you know, some decent sized house, an old house, built in '33. So there's a lot of little hallways and stuff. So I was just walking down hallways, just kind of tripping, and I kept feeling like I was going to see the Baphomet come out of my closet for some reason. Like I knew he was in there, and I knew that if I stayed around too long, you know, boy was gonna come out of there, and I didn't want to. Boy, girl, whatever it is, it was gonna come out of there, and I did not want to see it. So nah, I didn't hang around for that. Had bad vibes in the back bedroom. Got out of there. I came out to hit the blunt a couple times. And the moon was like, you know, way out there. I was like, yeah, it's a beautiful moon. You know, I come back out. I can't say an hour later, you know, track of time. I come back out again to smoke the blunt a couple times, a couple of hits. And then boom, it's like the moon was, you know, closer to me, but a whole lot bigger. And then I come out a third time and the moon was closer to me, even closer this time. It's like, fuck, I've never seen the moon this, like, is this okay? How am I this close to the moon? Like the shit was like, it was almost like, you know, right there on me. So I came out the last time to smoke, and the moon was literally like, I thought it was sitting on the top of my house. Like it was, I walked out and it looked up and it was like a fucking spotlight, so bright, and it was like sitting on my house. I mean, it was lowered closer to the ground than like the tallest tree in your yard. You know what I mean? Like it was like, I felt like it was right there, a huge spotlight. And it was so white, and yeah, so I tripped on that. I was like, how the fuck is the moon this close? Like, I'm concerned a little bit, but it's cool. So that was that. I went back in. I had some fucking, like, Indian shaman tribe music playing, you know. So I sat back in the recliner. It's pretty dark in the house, minus the only thing I had on was Christmas lights and one candle. And they was throughout the house. So the room that I was just in a recliner. It was my living room, had the TV off, and I was just in the recliner. There was some Christmas lights in the room next to me, kind of just give me a little bit of a vibe, color vibe, a little Skittle splash, shower, Skittle splash, you know what I mean? And it was just, you know, perfect. So I just sit there and just kind of started closing my eyes, and, you know, I would see a lot of, I can't even describe the colors that I was seeing. It was just a beautiful arrangement of colors, just it's beautiful. And some clouds, smoke, thick clouds, you know, that would form, and then boom, there'd be this pretty display of these colors that I can't even describe really. And then I would see a couple of geometrical shapes and patterns kind of, you know, off in the corner, like, you know, swirling, and then like, you know, go off into the corner, and then it'd be like a cloud and a little bit of red light and purple and something like that, you know, and then just like, and then there'd be a little, just kind of go across, but, you know, nothing too profound. I was tripping on that, but I kind of woke myself up out of this, like, what felt like a little trance, or like a little good nap, cat nap or something. Like, I was just, you know, and I woke up and realized, like, fuck, I'm not breathing, you know, shit, I gotta breathe, bro. So I gotta see this thing through. So I felt like I wasn't breathing. I was just like out of it for a minute, you know, seeing this shit. Got up out of there because I didn't like the way that didn't feel like I was breathing. I think that's it. That was it for the night. I was a little disappointed. I took the whole 5 grams. I was wanting to see those fucking elves again, or see something, talk to somebody. You know what I mean? But that was it. So Like I said, 7 or 8 times I've done shrooms. The first time being the best orgasmic, pleasurable experience. One of the best experiences I've had in life. The last time being pretty cool. I might be forgetting some things. Oh, I did have on that last trip. I had a lighter kind of like this, but it was it was like a zombie witch dead looking person. And it was like a woman. And I remember I kept looking at the lighter every time I light the blunt up. I look at the lighter, and it would the woman just started, her face would be just fucking weird. It was getting kind of distorted, and I didn't like it, so I didn't want to see that vibe. So I chunked that out in the yard. Found it the next day, but yeah. So that's really about it, man. I would encourage people to try shrooms. I would like to explore DMT. I'm not even going to try acid. It's too synthetic for me. I would just kind of stick, DMT's pushing it, I like to be more natural. So acid, no. DMT, I really would like to try that, but to be honest, if I had it sitting in my hand right now, I would be scared shitless, and I'd probably have to work up to it for about 4 or 5 months. So I love to hear the stories. Y'all keep them coming. That's my whole experience with psilocybin mushrooms. I'm infatuated with mushrooms. I love mushrooms. I hunt mushrooms. I eat mushrooms. But psilocybin mushrooms are very special, and I encourage people to try it at least once in your life.